Hey everyone, before I get started, I just want to remind you that if you like my content, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and then join the Militiaman and Crew Patreon community by clicking the link in the caption.
Hey, good evening everybody. It's Militiaman and it's Monday night, and we're going to get started with a few things in the Iraqi dinar world, and it's going to be good. We've got a lot of people out there that are going to be dealing with al-Sudani, Mohsen al-Lak. He's the central bank governor. There's just a lot of things that they've been talking about. Al-Lak has been brought to to the House of Representatives, the Ministry of Finance, the Parliamentary Committee. They've all been interviewing him, so he's in a big way, being in the public. So today's news is a meeting between al-Sudani and al-Lak to discuss measures to stabilize the currency market. And this is going to be a common theme you're going to see today, yesterday, and maybe even tomorrow, or however long they need to get the information out. But it says Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani met with the governor of the central bank, Ali Mohsen al-Lak, in the presence of the advisors and general management investment in the bank. So, general manager of the investment bank. So here it is that they, during this meeting, the measures taken by the central bank regarding the stability of the currency in the Iraqi market was discussed, because they've been having problems with the parallel market, and we all know that the parallel market is an illegal market. It's a black market, so they call it. So they're having a problem with that. But they're going to actually try to resolve it, I think, is what we're going to find out. It says the most prominent things that they had on the plate were discussed, and they needed to prepare and develop and enable the banking sector so that they would just have a role that, moves forward. So they have the development they're going to be in dealing with. They're facing challenges. Obviously, the parallel market has been a thorn in their side, so to speak. But they do have a fix for it, and we'll see how that works out. They listened to clarifications about the most important facilities that are provided by the central bank, which is going to be, allowing small merchants and importing individuals to finance their projects without the need to establish a company. So therefore, right now, the dollar, dinar, they are being used in the country, and while they're still using two different currencies in the country, the multi-currency practices aren't supposed to happen. So there's legitimate reasons for them to be able to use the dollar. We all know that. The dinar is the currency of choice from the central bank. It's by law. So when you see these articles about the currency and the dollar, they typically come from outside sources that aren't doing any benefit for the Iraqi government and or the citizens, because it's creating an environment that's inflationary. So we're going to see how they're going to resolve it. Basically, al-Sudani directed the central bank to make greater efforts to simplify procedures for the citizens. He emphasized to the Council of Ministers a decision regarding the payment of installments of investments projects was implemented by allowing citizens to pay in Iraqi dinars for the value of housing, and which they previously bought them with foreign currency. So they're stopping that. They want them to buy with a dinar, use the dinar, and move forward. And so the application of Article 48 of the Federal General Budget Law to unify and simplify the tax procedures on one hand, and not to link them to external transfers on the other. So obviously they're working at length to try to make sure this gets done right. It basically is stating that al-Lak has revealed that there's an intention to resume selling cash dollars through licensed banks in specific governance. Well, if you're licensed and you're doing it properly for travel, for education, for medical abroad, there's no reason why you can't get dollars in the proper legal manner, you're going to have to go to the electronic platform. The electronic platform is transparent. My understanding is this new system is going to be, and probably is already, like the SWIFT system, which is the ISO 20022. That platform in that market has made it very cumbersome for the illegal behavior. If you're not on the electronic platform, you're probably not doing it properly, so therefore that is going to go away, and they're making note of it. We've seen that they've had banks specifically shut down. I think there was 14 plus an additional 4, and one of those 3 items that we talked about in previous videos, if you keep watching along, you'll notice that this repetition is because it's what they've said in the past, and what they're doing is to eliminate certain things, and some of those requirements that were necessary was for Al Sudani to name names, and you're going to see that that's been part of the process. So we'll get onto that in a few, but remember that the ATFX was awarded the project for currency pairing with the IQD, currency pairs, precious metals, energy, all that stuff. We talked about that. You can look it up. ATFX, it's on Patreon. There's a little search bar. You can type in ATFX and you can come in. You get all the articles for that. It's a simple search. It's fascinating. I use it all the time. It's great. By the way, all this stuff you can find in Discord. The news is daily. It's a vibrant chat room. Everybody's welcome. The value is unbelievable. So we got a lot of that going on. If you go back and remember, back in June, Mazhar Mohammed Saleh, he says that he's confirmed that the strength of the quantitative and price monetary policy tools in managing public liquidity while identifying factors for stabilizing purchase power of the Iraqi dinar. So if you go back in time a little bit, it really helps you get to the future, because they don't always do it every single day, 24/7, but they do tell you bits and pieces as they go. And you can go back in time and you can see that once you go, wow, I remember that. They did talk about that. So the goal is still in process. And when they talk about taking care of the citizens, they need purchasing power. And they're not getting it on the black market. So anybody that's gone to the black market is not doing anybody any favors. Okay, it's creating a problem. So they're fixing that. And then in this same time frame, in June of 2023, it says the monetary policy and the strength of foreign reserves. You're going to see that today. They talk about the foreign reserves today. They're over 100 billion. I think they were light in what they said today at 100 billion. I think they're at 110 or 115 billion, to be fair, because they publicly stated so. But in this particular case, you're going to find that they're talking about 100 billion as we go forward. But here, the Central Bank of Iraq Law 56 of 2004, Article 31 stipulates that the dinar is the national monetary unit of Iraq, and trading goods and services inside Iraq in foreign currency is a violation of the Central Bank Iraq law. Okay, so the dollar being pilfered, those auctions is notable. Okay, so those people in those banks, those 14 or 18 banks that they were published and noted, all those folks went to the black market from what it looks like. So obviously they've been put on notice, and it's probably not a good thing for them in the future. If in fact they change the value of the exchange rate, anybody holding dollars and they go back to a previous era, they're going to get creamed. I mean, they not only got creamed by having to spend more of their dinars for the dollar. When the dollar gets worth less, not worthless, but just worth less, they're going to feel it twice. They've been warned. I think they've been warned enough time that now you do, and yeah, it's just, you're darned if you do, you're darned if you don't. So anyway, a representative of the state law government measures against the dollar will soon raise the value of the Iraqi dinar. So everything they're talking about, again, here's another article, value of the dinar, raise the value of the Iraqi dinar. The representative of the state law, Jazim al-Musawi, confirmed that the measures taken by the government of the Prime Minister al-Sudani will raise the value of the Iraq dinar in the coming days. Well, good thing they didn't say soon, but they didn't. So it's going to be their words, and we've heard this over and over, just like we've heard from al-Sudani, hold your dinars, they're going to be stronger than the dollar. The citizens haven't seen that yet. We haven't seen it yet. But we're getting to that state where all the new electronic systems, everything's getting in place. They're talking about the distribution of and spending money. So we're gonna hear about that shortly. But the government has adopted many reforms and remedies to counter the decision of the Federal Reserve according to this electronic platform. So when they say this in the coming days, they have a countermeasure because of the United States Federal Reserve Bank has put up a new site, a new platform, a new protocol, is that they're not going to be able to use the dollar, okay? And the reserves of their country, their foreign reserves, have grown to where they are. And here it says that they've reached 100 billion today. I think, again, it's a little bit light. It says the Iraqi dinar will improve with passage of time. Al-Sudani's approach is to implement the government's program on the ground. The government is able to develop immediate solutions to address any unacceptable emergency to the exchanged dollar against the dinar. So you can see that it's kind of hard for me to read, but it's the translations that we get, so it's tough. So be careful on that. It says the solutions on the government can deal in the next stage to open new windows, okay, and giving the opportunity to enhance the ratio of circulation within this new modern system. So they're clearly telling you that they have a new window. That's where you get currency, and it's going to enhance the ratio of circulation. So they're going to enhance ratio of circulation. Well, we're not talking about 1310. If you're going into a new modern system, 1310 is not modern. Okay, so when they say that, and they're saying they're opening the windows, by doing so will enhance circulation quickly. What are they going to circulate? Well, we'd like to think from 2018 they're going to recirculate new small category notes. Doesn't say that specifically, but that's the implication. Their job's not to tell you item for item the specificity of everything, but they do give you hints. And this article right here is one of them. And that article in Patreon says it's a representative of the state law. Government measures against the dollar will soon raise the value of the Iraqi dinar. That's in the news today, okay? I don't make it up. This is not a sham. It's just what they're telling me, okay? Here's the next one, which is going to be a fascinating one as well. It says the outputs of the meetings of the Finance Committee, that's all about money, with the governor of the central bank regarding the dollar. So here's another article today about that, the governor of the central bank, the Finance Committee, and what else? Regarding the dollar, it says that during this hosting, which was attended by a number of deputies and other committees. So in this statement, if you read the article and you don't get it, the bottom line is that it's attended by a number of deputies and other committees. So it's not just a few people, it's about deputies and their committees. So that's multiple people have an interest in what's going on in Iraq about their currency, right? So the chairman of the committee welcomed the governor of the central bank, stressing that its optimism in the process of reforming the economic reality and money management and the path of controlling the exchange rate. So it's obvious that this is a big picture. People are there invited to go in to see this. The governor of the central bank is there. The finance committee is there. It's chaired by this man by the name of Atwan al-Atwani, and with a presence of a number of members. Okay, so when they say that they're doing all this, there's an interest for everybody to be there. He says that the mission is to achieve monetary stability. So Ali Alak, the central bank governor, says his mission is to achieve the monetary stability and control pricing, explained that there has been a balance between the supply and demand for foreign currency, and to monitor the cash currency entering and leaving through the outlets, confirming its entry in a fundamental way. Back and forth, back and forth. Bottom line is they got control. They're paying attention to where the money's coming and going. The new electronic system is going to be able to see exactly how they do that. And that's what the whole plan is to be able to monitor it, know where the money's coming and going, whether it's going for corruption, knowing whether it's going for money laundering, all of those things, okay? It says the committee members, so it says the committee members, that's a group of people other than just Alak, excuse me, ask a number of questions regarding the reasons for the rise in exchange rates. So they're asking questions, well, why are we getting this? And they're likely going to get a good answer. And they're asking about the penalties imposed on some banks and what are the procedures following the central bank to find out the details. So we already know that they shut down those 14 plus more, I think it's 18 banks. And basically what they're asking is that what type of solutions do you have? And it says that the central bank is working with the importance of developing radical solutions to the crisis. Well, what's a radical situation? Or what's a radical solution? Going from 1460 to 1310 wasn't a radical solution. Going from 1310 to 1132, which is seriously not a radical solution. Okay, what they're really talking about is likely that they're going to have a radical solution. And that's going to be more like going back to a previous area. That's how I see it. The finance community affirmed that they have support for the decisions that have been made by the government. So they're saying that if they've made decisions for a radical move for the interest of the country and building on an advanced financial economic system, it sounds like they're all for it. And so that's what we're seeing here today. That's an awesome circumstance that we're watching unfold. And then here again, the House of Representatives, we talked about that. We went through a list. It says the details of hosting the governor of the central bank regarding the exchange rate of the dollar. So you just got to go, well, wow, this is a lot of articles out today that are specifically at this whole topic. It says the news revealed the media department of the House of Representatives hosting the governor of the central bank, Ali Alak, regarding the cause of the crisis of the high exchange rate of the dollar in Iraq. Who are they talking to? Finance committee. They hosted Ali Alak. They're basically discussing the banking sector and the high exchange rate of the dollar. So it's really kind of nothing new. We've already kind of been over that. But what's their optimism? He says there is optimism in the process of reforming the economic reality, the money management, and the path of controlling the exchange rate. So they're just going over and over the same thing. What are we doing? This is what we're doing. We hope to achieve economic stability and improve performance. It goes on and says the general principle of monetary stability is the exchange rates link to cash. The problem lies in the increase in the demand for currency while the bank provides currency through the platform and its willingness to cooperate in order to get out of the crisis. So this platform that they have, they're going to use it. It's a new system. It's a new economic platform. It's not the old system. They're going to use something new. They change the value of their currency. They stick with this new platform. They're going to have a really good idea where money's going. And again, it's going to be a radical solution because the dollar, as it is known today, why would you go and buy dollars at an inflated price if you weren't doing it illegally or stressing over something? Whereas when they change the value of the currency, your value of your dollars that you decided to buy are worth less than your own currency. Hence, Al-Sudani has said, look it up on Patreon. He said the dinar will be stronger. So it's been a painfully slow process. Of course it is, but be serious about it. It's really gotten earnest since November of 2022, and all the stuff that we've seen to date is fascinating and it's phenomenal and it's coming to a head. It says here the Finance Committee emphasized they support the decisions taken by the government so that they're in the public interest of the country and building a developed financial and economic system. So that's like page number 4 of all that same stuff over and over again. You can't make it up. Here's the not the last one, but it says the dollar in Iraq, America is tightening, the market is on fire. So it says the Iraqi dinar recorded a significant decline against the dollar. It's because of that market, which is the parallel market, which is illegal. It says that on Baghdad and Erbil stock exchange, just a few days after the imposition of the U.S. sanctions against 14 banks, basically just reiterating what I'd already been over, it says that they must resort to an adjustment of the price of the dollar. So when are they going to do that? Well, we don't have a clue yet, but we'd like to think it's going to be any day now or any time now. Here it says specifically, I won't show you the banks, but the bottom line is those banks that are in there, they've been labeled. That's exactly what I told you that Al-Sudani was asked to do. Start naming names. We want to know who's involved. And sure enough, what do we have? We had the U.S. Treasury show back up. We had Al-Amiri get upset at a memorial because of the fact that an employee of the U.S. Treasury was back in Iraq and probably wasn't welcomed with open arms. But the fact remains is that the U.S. Treasury showed up, and we have results coming from that. They're talking about a lot of stuff in this particular article. The citizens being afraid of the collapse of the currency, and that would be because of the street rate has an effect on them. But the bottom line is the official rate has not changed from 1310 as I know it today. The U.S. Treasury and the central bank have previously imposed strict controls on cash transfers carried out by Iraqi banks, and since the beginning of January, in an attempt to reduce the money laundering and smuggling. But smuggling operations witness a variety of ways and means of exiting the currency. So whoever's clever, they're still doing it. But while they were doing that, there was articles out, and we have that in Patreon in our Discord chat room, that show that this didn't just happen. They went back and audited in 2022, and this is probably why Amiri got upset. This could be, and it could also be why these banks were named, because they needed to know who was doing the trading of the dollar outside the legal limits. And it says here, the Finance Committee in Iraq's parliament hosted today, which is Monday, the governor of the Central Bank of Iraq. The central bank has provided the electronic platform so they can save dollars, buy goods and services from abroad, and the merchants and the citizens go to the market to buy foreign currency at a price that is a big difference from the official price. And so for them doing that, they're making a big mistake. They shouldn't be doing that. They shouldn't have to do that. So they're trying to nip that in the butt. And I'm assuming that this is basically all, like I said, warnings to everybody. Look, the system's not going to go away. And if you're going to use the dinar, a digital dinar, you're going to have a problem, because they're going to know where the money's coming and going, who's doing it. And it says here, almost since the beginning of this year, the Central Bank of Iraq has launched a working mechanism in an electronic platform and in the international financial transfer system. Okay? JP Morgan, XRP, ATFX, we've talked about those things. Here it is, they say SWIFT, ISO 20022. They just say SWIFT in this particular article, but that's the platform. That's what's coming. We have, whether we like it or not, we have a new system called the Fed Now. We have the Fed Wire. We have all kinds of different things that are going on that are just about, being on a level playing field. So let's see what the next one comes up. Here it says this. Here's an economic warning from this gentleman talking about Iraq's return to Chapter 7. Now, why would he be talking about that? I'm not sure if he's looking for a new job or if he's truly warning everybody, but he says the Iraq would return to Chapter 7 and impose sanctions on it due to banking violations of the SWIFT system. So he's saying, like, look, you guys, if you don't play right, you don't play by the ball game, you don't have transparency where the money's going, coming and going for the citizens of Iraq, for transparency, It's basically stating that if you're in violation of the SWIFT system, diversifying the sources of economy and trade exchange with capitalist countries, if you don't get involved and you're not part of it, whether you like it or not, it's going to be an issue. Not necessarily a bad thing for investors, and not necessarily a bad thing for the citizens. What are they looking for? They're looking for their purchasing power, and it deservedly so. So let's get on board, let's go. It says here, ensuring that sanctions are not imposed on Iraqi banks and the continuation of selling the dollar in its natural state depends on Iraq's commitment to international resolutions and the SWIFT system, and otherwise Baghdad will face sanctions that may return to Chapter 7. That sounds scary to you and I. I think it's pressure. First off, it's an expert. It isn't the central bank saying it. It isn't the government saying it. It's just a guy looking for a job potentially, or just trying to make a name for himself. But he may not be wrong, because if you don't do the right thing, he's saying that there's going to be consequences. Kind of an interesting piece today, because it's online. Because what are they talking about? They're talking about the exchange rate changes. They're talking about purchasing power. They're talking about all that. And here it says the 4 presidencies, okay, they have support severing relations with Sweden. Sadly, there's some stuff in the news that will probably be not such a good thing. But the interesting thing buried in this article is that they discuss completing the instructions for implementing the budget. Hidden in this, you have negative and a positive, okay? Discuss completing the instructions for the implementing of the budget. The 4 presidencies, they discuss completing instructions for implementing the budget. It says the Speaker of the House, Mohammed Halbusi, hosted the President of the Republic, Abdul Latif Jamal Rashid, the Prime Minister, Shia al-Sudani, and also key point is the Supreme Judicial Council Judge, Faik Sadain. Basically, the meeting discussed the file of the federal budget law and the need to complete its instructions. This is what we've been waiting for. Follow up on the projects, the quality of the projects, and guess what? We've been talking about this key word, spend. We've been waiting for them. They can't spend at 1310 to buy bridges, buy factories. You can't do that at 1310. They don't have enough dinar. They have to change the value of their exchange rate to be able to spend, in our opinion, according to its priorities in a way that meets the government program. So there it is again. The meeting discussed the file of the federal budget law and the need to complete its instructions, follow up on the projects, their quality of those projects, and spend according to priorities in a way that meets the government's program. And they go on to say, with regard to the region meeting, the meeting actually stressed that the application of the articles in the federal general budget law and in all its detail related to oil, non-oil revenues, and the disbursement of dues. That right there is probably one of the most powerful articles that we've had in recent. I would say, you guys, check out Patreon. We have this, all of this. Samson brings it to us. It's phenomenal. And so listen, what we have been witnessing is that all the expectations for everybody is to get to a market economy and to move this whole agenda forward. So thank you for your time. And if you like our content, of course, please subscribe. And if you like to keep it rolling, all those donations and generosity makes all the difference in the world. And thank you so much.
Once again, guys, don't forget to hit that like button if you like this content, subscribe to the channel, or join us at the Militia Man and Crew Patreon community for even more exclusive content. You can also donate to this channel by hitting the links in the banner to help keep this page up and running. Your generous support is greatly appreciated, as always. Much, much appreciated. Thank you so much, and have a great day.